Imagine an army attempting something that sounds almost impossible. Crossing the freezing Alps with thousands of soldiers, horses, supplies, and massive war elephants. More than 2,000 years ago, one commander decided to do exactly that. His name was Hannibal Barca. Born around 247 BC in Carthage, a powerful city in North Africa, Hannibal grew up during a period of intense conflict between Carthage and Rome. His father, Hannibal Barca, was a famous Carthaginian general who had fought Rome during the First Punic War. According to the famous ancient historian Polybius, Hamilcar made Hannibal swear an oath that he would never become a friend of Rome. That oath would shape his entire life. Hannibal eventually became one of Carthage's greatest military commanders. And when war broke out again between Carthage and Rome, he launched one of the most extraordinary military campaigns in ancient history. Instead of attacking Rome by sea, Hannibal marched his army from Spain toward Italy. But there was one enormous obstacle standing in his way: the Alps. The Alps were not the comfortable tourist destination we know today. More than 2,000 years ago, crossing them meant dealing with narrow mountain paths, freezing temperatures, avalanches, hostile tribes, hunger, exhaustion, and dangerous terrain. And Hannibal was attempting to take war elephants across them. The exact route Hannibal used remains debated by historians, but ancient sources agree that the journey was extremely difficult. His army entered the mountains with tens of thousands of troops. By the time they reached Italy, the force had been severely reduced by combat, disease, starvation, accidents, and the brutal conditions of the journey. Yet Hannibal had achieved something extraordinary. He had appeared in Italy from a direction the Romans did not expect. And now Rome faced a commander unlike almost anyone it had ever fought. Hannibal was not simply brave. He was a master of strategy. His greatest weapon was often not the strength of his army, but his ability to understand the enemy. One of his most famous victories came at the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC. The Roman army was enormous, far larger than Hannibal's force. A normal commander might have tried to avoid such an enemy. Hannibal did the opposite. He allowed the Roman army to push into the center of his formation while his troops gradually surrounded it from both sides. The result was one of the most famous examples of battlefield encirclement in military history. Thousands upon thousands of Roman soldiers were killed or captured. Rome had suffered a devastating defeat. For a moment, it seemed possible that Hannibal might actually destroy the Roman Republic. But there was a problem. Winning battles was not the same as winning the war. Hannibal lacked the resources needed to capture Rome itself, and the Romans refused to surrender. Instead, Rome changed its strategy. They avoided giving Hannibal another easy opportunity for a decisive battle and attacked Carthaginian territories elsewhere. The war dragged on. Eventually, a Roman commander named Scipio Africanus took the fight directly to North Africa. Hannibal was forced to return home. In 202 BC, the two great commanders finally met at the Battle of Zama. This time, Hannibal was defeated. The Second Punic War ended with Carthage severely weakened and Rome emerging as the dominant power in the Western Mediterranean. But Hannibal's story did not end there. He later became involved in Carthaginian politics and eventually went into exile. He spent years moving between different kingdoms, advising rulers and remaining a threat in the eyes of Rome. The Romans never completely forgot him. Even decades later, Hannibal remained a symbol of the danger Carthage had once represented. Eventually, surrounded by enemies and fearing capture by the Romans, Hannibal reportedly chose death rather than surrender. His exact final words are debated, but the story of his final escape has become part of his legend. Hannibal Barca never conquered Rome. He never created a permanent empire, but his military genius survived for centuries. The image of a Carthaginian army crossing the Alps with war elephants became one of the most remarkable stories of the ancient world. And his tactics are still studied today because Hannibal understood something that every great commander needs to understand. An army does not always win because it is bigger. Sometimes it wins because its commander thinks differently. Hannibal challenged one of the most powerful civilizations of the ancient world and came closer to defeating Rome than almost anyone before him. His journey across the Alps was more than a military maneuver. It was a statement. Hannibal was telling Rome that no mountain, no distance, and no impossible obstacle would stop him from bringing the war to its doorstep. And that is why, more than 2,000 years later, the name Hannibal Barca still echoes through military history. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, subscribe to Rayazora Info for more incredible stories of warriors, empires, battles, mysteries, and forgotten moments from history. Because sometimes the most unbelievable stories from history are the ones that really happened.